Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Okay. Let us start, sir.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Respected Principal, Dr. Reena Ravindran. Today's Chief Guest, Dr. Prashobit KP. IQSC Coordinator, Dr. JRPS. Research and Publication Committee Coordinator, Dr. Binimol M. And dear participants, good evening everyone and welcome to the webinar in connection with the Parambara 2020, jointly organizing by Research and Publication Committee, PTA, IQSC, in association with Kerala State Higher Education Council. Today's webinar is organized by the Department of Physical Education and the topic is National Education Policy 2020 and Sports. Before starting the session, I would like to remind you that please keep the microphone in mute mode. Let us start the session with formal welcoming. The Department of Physical Education is organizing this webinar because of the motivation and support given by our respected principal, Dr. Reena Ravindran. On behalf of Research and Publication Committee and Department of Physical Education, I welcome Dr. Reena ma'am to this program.
Thank you, Sriji. Thank you.
It is immense pleasure to introduce the resource person of today's session, Dr. Prashobit KP. He is my teacher and he is a research guide in Kannur University and he is the head of the Department of Physical Education, Government Brennan College, Talasheri, which is the only government college which received G.V. Raja Award for Best College in Sports. On behalf of Research and Publication Committee, PTA, IQSC, and Department of Physical Education, Sri Narayana College, Natika, I welcome you, sir, to this program.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sriji.
I also welcome IQSC Coordinator, Dr. JRPS, Research and Publication Committee Coordinator, Dr. Binimol, all the dignitaries and faculties, dear students who are participating in this program. I welcome you all to this webinar. Now I invite Dr. Reena ma'am, respected principal, for the presidential address.
Thank you, Sriji. Distinguished resource person of the day, Dr. Prashobit, head of the Department of Physical Education, Government Brennan College, Talasheri, head of the Department of Physical Education of our college, Sriji NS, webinar coordinator, Dr. Binimol, PTA secretary, Dr. Soumya, IQAC coordinator, Dr. Jaya, faculty members from various departments, and my dear students. Good afternoon to one and all. Indeed, very happy to be part of this program. As you all know, Parambara is a webinar series which we began in 2018, and all departments are given a session to have a topic of discussion along with paper presentation by students. And today is the day of the Physical Education Department, and Sriji sir has selected a very good topic, New Education Policy 2020 and Sports. As you all know, New Education Policy promises to address the twin problems of our education system, namely rote learning and the disconnect between education and life. And the objectives of New Education Policy emphasizes on laying the foundation of a new India by focusing on the shift in approach from what to think to how to think. It is actually trying to bring a transformational change in India. Now, if you look at the various careers available in India, careers in media, entertainment, sports industry require skill development from a very early age. And this is not available in the ongoing education system. Most skill development and enhancement in these fields happen through hobbies, extracurricular activities, personal likings, and on-the-job learning. If you look at the manpower joining the media, entertainment, events, and sports industry, mostly they come from various science stream, commerce stream, or arts stream. And the arts faculty is mainly associated with subjects like economics, languages, literature, etc. Whereas the creative arts, performing arts, design, and sports verticals are very weakly positioned in the present education system. So the new education policy will provide students an opportunity to integrate art subjects into their formal education framework. This will not only help students interested in media, entertainment, events, design, and sports to select the subjects they like, but this will also create the formal learning environment needed for a strong foundation in these areas. I think our resource person will be able to give more inputs regarding this, and I hope this session will be an eye-opener to all students. So those who are really interested in creative arts, performing arts, sports, they can pursue their career with more interest in the coming future. I wish the program all success, and I welcome the resource person for his views. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. So happy to be a part of the Parampara organized by Srinarayana College, Natika. And apart from that, so happy that the former student of Kannur University, Sriji, NS, is leading the physical education and sports in this college. As rightly pointed out by the principal, a new education policy is going to be rolled on for the next 35 years. So being the strong stakeholders of this education, as teachers, as students, and as the stakeholders, we have to go through each and every sentence of this national education policy. And I hope that you might have seen all those policy with the 66 pages. And it is already there in the MHRD site and the Kerala government site. So those, especially students, those who do not go through the National Education Policy 2020, please read the 66-page National Education Policy so that the next 25-30 years of education will be based on this policy. And after having this discussion, I am straight away, let me go to the program. And before we start the discussion, may I know the timing for the program, the session? Ma'am, principal ma'am, may I know the timing?
1 hour.
Okay. Because 45 minutes, then automatically it's going to be a span of attention will be definitely 45 minutes. So maximum 40. Yeah.
1 hour also we are able to listen.
Okay, no problem. So 40 minutes we will have a discussion, and last 20 minutes we will have an interaction. Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you. So today we are going to discuss about National Education Policy 2020 and sports. And as rightly pointed out by the principal, next 30 years, National Education Policy 2020 will be in discussion and will be in the rollout. And today we will have a discussion on National Education Policy, especially on higher education and sports. And we will have two sessions. The first session, the first 20 minutes, we will have a National Education Policy and how it influences higher education. And what are its features? What are the policy makers wanted to make an impact? And next 10-15 minutes, how this national education policy influences sports. So we start with the National Education Policy Committee formed in 2017. Kasturi Rangan, former ISRO chairman, was the chairman of this committee. And apart from that, when I was hearing an interview with present higher education minister of India, Ramesh Pokhriyal, there was a question why you have, apart from a lot of academicians, why you have taken Kasturi Rangan as the chairman of this committee. Then the answer was, normally comparing to the academicians, the space scientists are always having an extra edge in futuristic thoughts, especially in terms of solution. Suppose in terms of Chandrayaan and all, then they landed there. Then at what angle we have to make it right. So that kind of futuristic thought is more for a space scientist than the academicians, because we have got a lot of problems. So we have to solve that problems, and that problem solving capacity has got an extra edge for space scientists. That was the answer. And Kasturi Rangan was the chairman. Apart from that, Kasturi Rangan was recently in the news. You might have read the newspapers. Kerala has been adjudged as the best governed states of the largest states comparing to the other states recently, 2020. Actually, it was the Kerala was adjudged as the best state under the chairmanship of Kasturi Rangan, Public Access Index 2020, and the Public Access Center. And the chairman was Kasturi Rangan, and the head office was in Bangalore. So Kasturi Rangan was the chairman. Then just to go through the committee members, Professor Vasudha Kamath, VC SNDU University, Mumbai, Dr. Manchul Bhagava, Professor of Maths, Princeton University, Professor Ram Shankar Kuril, former founder, VC Baba Saheb, Professor T.V. Katyamani, VC Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Mr. Krishnamohan Tripadi, Director of Education, Secondary School, Uttar Pradesh, Dr. Masar Asif, Professor, School of Languages, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Mr. K. Sridhar, former Member Secretary, Karnataka. And happy that we have got Dr. Shakila T. Shamsu, Officer on Special Duty, MHRD National Education Policy, and she belongs to Kerala. And another, for a brief look at the back history of national education policy, consultation process initiated for formulation of new education policy in 2015, high-level meeting taken by Honorable Minister for Human Resource Development, inviting suggestions of Government of India Ministries 2015, consultation meeting with the state education ministers 2015, constitution of committee for evolution of new education policy under the chairmanship of late Sri T.S.R. Subramanian. Unfortunately, he is no more. Committee under late Sri T.S.R. Subramanian submitted its report to ministry. Then ministry prepared some inputs for draft national education policy in 2016. Report of the committee for evolution of new education policy and some inputs for draft national education policy were laid in both houses of parliament in 2016. Short duration discussion under Rule 176 in Rajya Sabha on national education policy in 2016. Education dialogue with honorable MPs in 2016. Constitution of the committee for the draft education policy under the chairmanship of Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan and extension orders 2017. Committee submitted its report to ministry 2019. Meeting with the state education secretaries of school department held 2019. Education dialogue with honorable MPs, including Kerala MPs 2019. Meeting with the state education secretaries, including higher education principal secretaries of Kerala on 2019. Special meeting of CABE on national education policy 2019, and meeting of department related parliamentary standing committee of human resource development 2019. These are the back history for the history of National Education Policy, Final Policy 2020. Now come to the National Education Policy. Envisions higher education on the basis of the following yardsticks. Definitely when we frame a policy, definitely we need to have yardsticks. We need to have framework on basis of such things. And when we go through the National Education Policy, these are the 6 important yardsticks for the formulation of this policy. First one is, of course, equity. Second one, access. Being a stakeholder, being the part of higher education, so I don't want to explain these adjectives. Equity, of course, equality, then access. Accessibility is the most important factor, because being a larger populated country, the accessibility is the most important one, because we have to reach to the underdeveloped and we have to reach the underrepresented society. Then the quality, of course, quality is the most important aspect. And at the same time, I remember you that never ever sacrifice quality for quantity. At the same time, quantity is important factor, but quality must be given priority. Then, of course, affordability. In a populated country where we have got plenty of poor sections of the people, affordability is an important aspect. Then, of course, the accountability, because we are in a society where the corruption has got its unique way of increasement. So accountability is also an important factor. Then the last one, the most important one, to raise the gross enrollment ratio. As you all know that at present the higher education GER, gross enrollment ratio, is 26.3. And the National Education Policy wanted to raise the gross enrollment ratio, especially in higher education, to 50% by 2035. So based on these 6 yardsticks, this National Education Policy framed especially in terms of higher education. Then National Education Policy envisages different structures of institutions. At present, we have got affiliated colleges, state universities, central universities, deemed to be universities, private universities, etc. And under this National Education Policy 2020, they envisages 3 types of institutions. First one is research intensive university. Research intensive universities, nothing but university, they emphasize both research as well as teaching. That is a research intensive universities. Second one is teaching intensive universities. Teaching intensive universities focus mostly on teaching. At the same time, they promote research also. In research intensive universities, emphasize both teaching and research. In teaching intensive universities, emphasize more on teaching. At the same time, they never ever set aside research. Why? Because teaching and research is the 2 sides of a coin. So definitely teaching intensive universities should focus on teaching, but at the same time, they give importance to research also. Then the third one is autonomous degree granting colleges. Of course, autonomous degree granting colleges means we have got in Kerala, if you take autonomous colleges, we have got 1 government college and more than 16 aided colleges are there. But at present situation, they are serving as autonomous colleges. The certificates will be provided by the concerned university itself. But National Education Policy envisages this autonomous degree granting colleges. Colleges, they will have the autonomous power. At the same time, they have to be ready to provide certificates comparing to the universities, so that the universities can be reduced from their affiliating system burden. And the fourth important one, affiliating college system will be slowly, surely scrapped off. As you all know that most of the universities have got, if Calicut University and the MG University have got more than 300 colleges affiliated to the college. So it has its own academic and administrative problems. So affiliating college system will be slowly but surely scrapped. Instead, these research intensive universities, teaching intensive and autonomous degree granting colleges will be started. And the fifth point, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, holistic approach in teaching learning process. The most important aspect, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, holistic approach. What we need is a holistic approach. We are in a world where interdisciplinarity is the need of the hour, because everything is related to different topics. And so multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary and holistic approach in teaching learning process. Then come to the structure of programs. If you have these universities like this and colleges like this, then we have structures of programs here, UG and PG programs. And if you come to when we go to the UG programs, we have got 3 or 4 year programs with multiple entry and exit options. 3 or 4 year or otherwise 6 or 8 semesters UG programs. The most noticeable point is multiple entry and exit options. That means, of course, comparing to the Kerala, in other states, we have got a lot of dropouts. 1 year, then completing the graduate, before completing the graduation, either through marriage or some other purpose, students are forced to drop the graduation. So in order to incorporate these students also, this national education policy have got they have addressed their problems. That is why 1 year completion, then vocational certificate will be provided. If a student joined for a 3-year degree course, then 1 year completion, then there is a problem, then he or she is forced to quit. Then automatically vocational certificate, she is eligible to get vocational certificate. Then 2-year completion, diploma certificate will be given. Then 3-year completion, bachelor degree will be given. Then the 4-year completion, a bachelor degree with a scope for research. That means the undergraduate program will be slowly but surely changing from 3 to 4 years. And they have apart from that, they have introducing an academic bank of credits. Suppose, we have got, as you know, that we have got 120 credits is essential for completing the graduation. And suppose a student completed 1 year, then he or she will get this 30 or 25 credits. So that credit will be automatically preserved. And there's an academic bank of credits so that students can reuse these credits to complete their programs, because we have got multiple entry as well as multiple exit options. Then if you go to the 3-year, 4-year program, recently Kerala government has introduced more than 100 new generation courses. And it was, the government has given the consent mainly based on the Dr. Sabu Thomas committee. In that Sabu Thomas MG University, Sabu Thomas committee, they have emphasized the importance of 3 or 4-year degree programs, new generation programs. Apart from that, multidisciplinary programs with 4 years, honors with 4 years. So the same as far as the national education policies concept and the Kerala's education policy, I think they are going in tandem. So these are the structures of programs, UG. Come to the postgraduate program. In postgraduate program, we have 1 year or 2-year semester. 1 year or 2-year program, or 2 semester or 4 semester program. In 1 year PG for 4-year UG students, those students who have completed 4-year UG students, they need only 1 year PG. And those students, they have undergone 3-year UG students, they need 2-year program. And another important policy, the national education policy put forth is from next year or maybe no MPhil programs till from 2022 onwards. So no more MPhil programs. Instead, PhD will be promoted. Eligibility for PhD admission, either a master's degree or 4-year UG degree. Those students who have completed 4-year UG degree, they are eligible to get admitted in PhD. And those students who have completed 1-year masters, so they are also eligible for joining in PhD. Of course, different university will have their own PhD entrance examination, but master's degree or 4-year UG degree are going to be the minimum eligibility to get admitted for PhD. Okay. Then come to the administration of higher education. At present, we have got University Grants Commission, and under University Grants Commission itself published regulation. This University Grants Commission is the sole authority for funding in higher education, and this University Grants Commission is responsible for accreditation through National Assessment and Accreditation Council. And even academic standard setting is also under the control of the present University Grants Commission. That means University Grants Commission at the present UGC will have different roles. And the National Education Policy says that the conflict of interest, the chances of conflicts of interest may be more, because the same UGC has got the accreditation power, funding power, regulation power, and standard setting power. Of course, we have a University UGC regulation 2018 has already been published, then funding. Definitely, I strongly agree with the National Education Policy's suggestions. So in order to change that conflicts of interest, what they have done Higher Education Commission of India, an apex body, Higher Education Commission of India. And under this Higher Education Commission of India, 4 vertical bodies are there. 4 vertical independent bodies are there. National Higher Education Regulatory Council, which is exclusively dealing with the regulation. Then National Accreditation Council, exclusively for accreditation, just like NAC. Then Higher Education Grants Council, exclusively for funding. Then General Education Council, academic standard setting. So under this National Higher Education Commission of India, 4 vertical independent bodies are there. So regulation NHERS, for accreditation NAC, funding HEGC, and General Education Council GEC, academic standard setting. For that academic standard setting, different standard setting bodies will be given priority, just like NCRT, SCRT, ICMR, something like that. So all these important bodies will be incorporated in the academic standard setting for standard setting as standard setting bodies. So this is a small picture of the administration of higher education. Then comes the National Research Foundation. Another emphasis, they focused on National Research Foundation. National Research Foundation, before the National Education Policy and National Research Foundation policy making, they have done a survey. In that survey, they found that India spends only 0.69% of GDP to research. So they emphasized and they thought that a robust research system will be promoted, because India spends only 0.69% of the GDP. Unlike in United States, 2.8%, in 4.3% in Israel. Why? Because Israel ranked 5th most innovative countries in the world and highest ratio in the world on spending for research, 4.3%. Then in South Korea, 4.2%. I just wanted to show the percentage of these countries because comparing to these countries, we have got a great history in education. So India needs to raise the GDP spend for research. So that is why a robust research system will be promoted under the foundation of National Research Foundation. Then the most important one, faculty motivation. Of course, when we talk about higher education, the faculties are the most important stakeholders, just like the students. So in that 66-page National Education Policy, they categorically says that teachers need to be motivated, they have to be recognized for their effort, because we have to create a non-threatening atmosphere. Then only the teachers can be given his or her maximum for the society as well as the students. So motivation and timely promotion is the most important factor as far as the teachers are concerned. Empowering and updating of teachers is very important. So motivation, recognition, timely promotion has been clearly highlighted in the National Education Policy 2020. Then one more important point they have raised is freedom to design curricular and pedagogical approaches. Of course, each and every faculty member is the best faculty members we have had. So among these teachers, we have to promote the academic autonomy. I mean, they should be given freedom to design the curriculum and the pedagogical approaches. So that kind of promotion should be essential. So that is another important point for the faculty motivation. Excellence will be rewarded, promoted, and recognized. Of course, excellent teachers will be rewarded, will be promoted and recognized. And definitely, I repeat, the non-threatening atmosphere. At the same time, that the motivation is the most important point as far as the teachers are concerned. And I don't know at what extent the people in Kerala, especially the level of teachers' motivation, that can be discussed in the later part of the seminar. Then webinar, I mean, faculty not delivering on basic norms will be held accountable. Of course, faculty not delivering on basic norms will be held accountable, because we are getting a UGC scale and we have a commitment, as rightly pointed out in the first slide. The accountability is very important. So faculty not delivering on basic norms will be held accountable. These points are not my points. These points have been categorically specified in the National Education Policy. Then another point, tenure track system. That means there's a confusion regarding the tenure track system. Actually, in National Education Policy, tenure track system, they say suitable probation period to ensure excellence, which are the system followed in IITs. That means once a new faculty has been appointed, his performance and his assessment will be tracked for the next 1 or 2 years, and according to that, the permanency will be given. That is the point, suitable probation period to ensure excellence. So this is the points regarding faculty motivation. Then effective governance and leadership. So another important, if you want to improve the higher education in Kerala, in India, we need to have two important aspects. One is governance and the another one is leadership. If you have a strong leader, automatically your governance, in the higher education institutions, governance will be good. So it depends upon the leadership. So leadership is inversely proportional to the governance. That means if the leader is strong and very enthusiastic and very motivating, definitely governance will be up to that. And that is why when the NAC team, peer team visits our college, they check the governance, how the college functions, how the administration functions. So governance is closely associated with leadership. And here, national education policy focuses more on the best leaders, especially leadership. Envisions higher education institutions should have outstanding, enthusiastic, democratic, and motivating leaders who can cultivate excellence and innovations is the need of the hour. I strongly agree with that, because in some of the higher education institutions, what we need to have, especially in Kerala, so I have been a part of this higher education for the last 17 years. So what we need to have is an outstanding, enthusiastic, democratic, and motivating leaders. Suppose if a teacher with a different innovative idea reaches to the principal, whoever it is, then principal, because in his own vision, that idea may not be good. So immediately, okay, no need. So it should not be like that. We have to motivate. At the same time, we have to promote the innovation in the teacher. So that is important. Then another important point, higher education institutions should have IDP, Institutional Development Plan. At present, I'm so happy that now each and every institution is going to have master plans. So if your leadership is very good, then definitely institution will have a development plan. Development plan means the next 25 years, how our institution will be like that. So that is the institutional development plan. So National Education Policy 2020 categorically says that each higher education institution should have institutional development plan. Then leaders, we need to have leaders like high academic qualifications, demonstrated administrative and leadership capabilities, constitutional values, vision, social commitment, teamwork, pluralism, positive outlook, and ability to work with diverse people. These adjectives, these points are clearly mentioned in the National Education Policy. Don't misunderstand. These are not my own points. These all points are there in our National Education Policy with 66 pages. So I am so happy with these high academic qualifications. Of course, at the same time, if you have high academic qualifications, then vision, you need to have vision. Then social commitment, of course, being the teachers, social engineers, social commitment is very important. Then teamwork. We need to promote and we need to attract all the teachers, all the parents, all the students, and all the stakeholders to move as a team. Teamwork, pluralism, respecting each and every person's ideas, ideology. Then positive outlook, always be positive, and the ability to work with diverse people, very important. Difference of opinion might be very good friends. So we need to have leaders where even though each and every human beings are different, so we will have different types of ideology, idea, innovation, concept, and attitude. But as a leader, we have to incorporate all these diverse points, and we need to make a team and the constitutional values, vision, and to take our higher education institutions one of the very best. So these are the important points to be noted when we discuss about effective governance and leadership. Then the other important initiatives. So National Testing Agency, so comparing to the school education and higher education, they have promulgated in higher education, there is a common test. They are going to introduce commonality in examinations. So National Testing Agency will conduct a common entrance test. But in school education system, it has been modular based. That means they don't focus on common examinations. At the same time, modular based. Even SSLC and +2 examinations, they will have options. Options in the sense 2 times a year, in order to reduce the anxiety and fear among students to appear for the examinations. But in higher education, they are focusing on a commonality. Then the best foreign universities will be permitted to start their campuses in India. Of course, in a globalized society, we need to have an interaction with the foreign universities, and among that foreign universities, the best foreign university will be given a permission. Then the most important, holistic development of students by giving focus to library, playground, and labs. 360-degree attitude, 360-degree assessment. During the presidential talk, principal mentioned. So what we need is an integrated, a holistic development of students. And 3 pillars of education, as we all know that, 3 pillars, we normally say 3 pillars of education: library, playground, and lab. And that is why during the NAC visit, after the 70% of the evaluation ends, then the peer team comes. They will be divided into 3 groups. They will visit our library, then they will visit our playground, and they will visit our labs. And these are the places where the education is getting manifested. And that is why Vivekananda beautifully defines physical education. Education. Education is the manifestation of divine perfection already exists in man. These are the places where we get manifested. Apart from the classroom, a student's education should be manifested in libraries, playground, and laboratories. Why? In order to integrate them, in order to have a 360-degree assessment. See, this 360-degree assessment says, then I have my own experience, because in Government Bannan College, I am in charge of the admission process. So normally we have got 650 students, and after all the official procedures, students comes to my table, and it is my responsibility to provide admit memo. And normally I took time, and normally I used to ask 3 questions. What's your ambition? Tell me your 5 strong points. Then your concept, is there any inspiring persons? Unfortunately, we have got more than 95% students get admitted in Government Bannan College. Being a Government Bannan College of Kannur University, majority of the students will have more than 93% marks. But when I am asking these questions, very sorry state of affairs, 90% of the students failed miserably to answer these questions. At the same time, they have got good marks. See, there are cases they don't know the 5 strong points. And I said that we have got more than 1,500 points for each and every human beings. Research says that each and every student has got more than 1,500 strong points. And when a faculty asks to get a 5 strong points, students struggles. It's not the case of the UG students. It is the same case of PG students. So that kind of aspects, that kind of attitude we have to change. For that, 360-degree assessment is very essential. Then another important one, so playground gets a motivation. Automatically, sports and physical education will have a great role in academic activities. Departments in languages, literature, philosophy, mathematics, sports, applied sciences, economics, sociology, education should be established and strengthened at all higher education institutions to empower multidisciplinary environment. This is a quotation. This full sentence are there in our national education policy. Departments of literature, philosophy, mathematics, and the sports. If there is no department in sports, then physical education, then we need to promote, establish, and strengthen. But in Kerala, we are so lucky and we are so happy that we have got, when we start a college, definitely principal will be the first appointment, and as a general appointment, we have got physical education and sports. So in Kerala, it's not a new concept, but the national education policy strongly envisages sports departments should be established and strengthened in order to improve the integrity. In order to improve the general personality of the students. Then another important, no separation among curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Now in colleges we have got curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular. Even though all are being a part of the curricular activities, we say this is curricular, this is co-curricular and extracurricular. When it comes to NSS and NCC, we say it's co-curricular. And when it comes to sports, arts, we say extracurricular. From National Education Policy, very clearly says there is no separation among curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular. Why? Because sports, arts, NCC, NSS, classroom activities always reshapes or regenerates the students' academic capacity. So there shall be no differentiation between curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Then public and private institutions shall be treated equally. Public and private institutions shall be treated equally as per the National Education Policy. If it is there any contentious issues, that can also be discussed later. So other important initiatives, playground and sports, co-curricular, extracurricular should be emphasized. And even why our college has been named Kalalayam. So the research, education experts 50 years back, they sat together and they discussed and they termed it as Kalalayam. Padanalayam ennalla, Kalalayamana. That means it's an amalgamation of curricular, co-curricular, arts and sports. If it is exclusively for academics and studies, we could have named it as Padanalayam. So that is an important aspect. And now it is going to be revolutionized that curricular, there shall be no difference between curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Then vocational education to be restructured as per the 12th five-year plan and 2012 to 17, Indian workforce age group 19-24 received formal vocational education in less than 5%. Comparing to the US, it's 52%. In Germany, it's 75%. In South Korea, it's 96%. So we need to have a vocational culture, to inculcate vocational culture equivalent to academic culture. So NEP aims to attain 50% of our learners towards vocational education by 2025. And I think that may be the reason during the admission time, when I ask, what is your ambition? 90% students failed miserably because they don't have a clear ambition. They are yet to set their goals. They are not focused. They haven't shaped their attitude towards a destination, towards a goal. And for that, what we need to have is smart goals. Whatever the marks you have, we need students, especially students, please focus on smart goals. Smart means, yes, specific. Specific, you should have specific goals. M means that goals must be measurable. Then A means it should be attainable. Then R means relevant. And the last one, T means time bound. So each and every student should have goals, and that goals should be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and the time bound. Unless until we have that goal setting, our education qualification will be only for a qualification purpose. We have to utilize it. We have to make it practical. For that, we need to have that vocational culture as well as goal setting attitude. Then innovative pedagogy, transforming teaching learning process. This national education policy emphasizes experiential learning. Of course, experiential learning, focus on experiential, inquiry and discovery based teaching learning, emphasizes society must be the textbook and experiences must be the teachers. Of course, Samuhamana Padapustakamenum, Anubhavamana Guru in the Namal Parayare. Yes, exactly. Experience is the best teacher and society is the best textbook. So that must be the attitude. Then integrated pedagogy. Arts should be integrated, sports should be integrated, and ICT, information communication technology. These all the co-curricular, curricular, extracurricular should be amalgamated to make an individual the best for the society. Promotion of peer tutoring, then equal weightage, no hard separation for curricular, co-curricular, freedom of choosing a variety of subjects, combination to be provided including sports. If you want to become a scientist, ISRO scientist, that's a chance. Astrophysics is there, education is there. If you want to become a sports scientist, you have to take sports as your core subject. And even in our 1968 policy, actually we have got 1968, the first policy, we normally call it as Kothari policy, because Kothari was the chairman of that 1968 policy, and Kothari was the then University Grants chairman, Daulat Singh Kothari. In that Kothari commission itself, in order to improve the personality as well as the students' integrated culture, sports, physical education and health should be a part of the core subject. If you go through the Kothari Commission, sports and physical education must be treated as a core subject. Even though we have got open course in physical education, and there are some, and I'm very happy that Bachelor of Sports Management has been given consent by the state and university for UC College Aluva and St. Thomas College, Pala. So sports, those who are interested in sports and its related, sports scientists, professors and coaches and physical trainers and physical instructors and coaches and all, if you're interested in sports, you have to opt sports. So that kind of freedom, that kind of broader perspective has been envisaged in national education policy. Then bagless days to be scheduled. And recently, I have seen the newspaper, Kerala government, especially CRT, is strongly discussing about to reduce the weight of the bags of students, use and integration of technology. Then mental and physical health and well-being, mandatory for students, health checkups, mandatory skills, health and wellness, education. Of course, the 2020 is a very, very unique year for us, because COVID-19 has been an eye-opener for us, because he who has hope has health, and he who has health has everything. So whatever be the qualification, whatever be the criteria, if you have, unless you have a very good health, unless you have a very good immunity, we will be in trouble. That has already been discussed in the COVID-19 scenario. So I think so happy that people started concentrating on their health. In the morning walk, even both kids, ladies and gents, they started boosting their immunity by either relying on small jogging or walking. So this is a situation where we have to focus more on health. So fitness, wellness and sports should be given priority. Then the last one, teacher education programs. National education policy envisages teacher education programs, 4-year integrated program, that only from 2030, 2-year B.Ed programs for the present situation, and 1-year B.Ed for those students who have completed 4-year degree students. So these are the 3 level of teacher education programs. And these are the timeline for implementation of national education policy. And the policy is fully operational. Following this, a comprehensive review will be undertaken. I think the policy will be fully operational only on 2040. So we have got 2020 to 20 years to implement this policy, so that later stages we can have a review. And the last one, new features, mandatory for every PhD student to do a module on teacher education. So happy news for the teachers, because if you are doing PhD, definitely, whatever be the case, if you are not a teacher but still you want to do PhD, then you have to go through the modules on teacher education. That's a very good policy. I mean, that's a very good point as far as the teachers are concerned. Then it's deserved a Ministry of Human Resource Development be redesignated as Ministry of Education to bring the focus back on education and learning. And recently, President of India has given the has given the ordinance, has signed the ordinance that Ministry of Human Resource Development has been redesignated as Ministry of Education. Why sports and physical education in curriculum? Physical development, proper growth and development, functioning of various systems, psychological development, satisfaction and channelizing of emotions, removing worry, tension, then social development, then moral development. In order for self-control, for tolerance and self-confidence, if you are a part of sports, then automatically you can improve your level of self-confidence, ability to feel the difference of victory and defeat. I think famous cancer specialist Gangadharan doctor was saying in an interview, our education miserably failed to promote failure. Why? Because as students, we need to face the failure. Then only that kind of motivation comes. That means failure in the sense, not simply failing. And when it comes to sports, there is a chance to be a part of the victorious team as well as the losing team. That is the speciality of sports. So thank you very much. I'm sorry that I was preparing to stop the webinar on 3:40, but 5 or 10 minutes has been extended. Be a teacher by choice, not by chance. And I just want to open a video for 1 or 2 minutes. Shall I open that video with your permission?
Yes, sir.
Okay, students, settling down, thank you. You're about to begin your exam. These exams are going to define you. Grades you get are going to determine which sex school, which university, and which job you will be able to get into. These exams are exceedingly important, and I want you to take them seriously. These exams will determine what you become.
So we cannot view the video.
Sorry, ma'am, can't you see the video?
No. Your last slide is being shown.
Oh, sorry.
I know you're really anxious for your child to do well, but please do remember.
So this is the slide you are visible.
The slide is visible.
Okay, just a minute, ma'am.
Okay, students, settling down, thank you.
Again, it's not visible, sir.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Sir,
No.
share. Please,
Yeah,
yeah,
now
yeah.
Yes, now it's okay.
Determine which sex school, which university, and which job you will be able to get.
Okay, ma'am.
Students, settling down.
now it's visible, sir. It's okay.
You are about to begin your exam. These exams are going to define you. The grades you get are going to determine which sex school, which university, and which job you will be able to get into. These
Sir, please
exams
check the volume, sir.
I want you to take this seriously.
Pardon, ma'am?
These exams
Yeah,
Volume.
please check the volume, sir. Volume.
Okay.
Sorry, miss. This was a letter written by a head teacher in Singapore. I think it's really important for the teachers, your parents, and for you to hear. Dear parents, the exams of your children are to start soon. I know you're really anxious for your child to do well, But please do remember, amongst the students who will be sitting for their exams, there's an artist who doesn't need to understand math. There's an entrepreneur who doesn't care about history or English literature. There's a musician whose chemistry marks won't matter. There's a sports person whose physical fitness is more important than their grade in physics. If your child does get top marks, that's great. But if he or she doesn't, please don't take away their self-confidence and their dignity from them. Tell them it's okay. It's just an exam. They are cut out for much bigger things in life. Tell them no matter what they score, you love them and don't judge them. Please do this, and when you do, watch your children conquer the world. One exam or low mark won't take away their dreams or their talent. And please do not think that doctors and engineers are the only happy people in the world. With warm regards, the principal. And here's my message. Exams are important, but they're not everything. Grades are good, but they don't define you. Don't let one exam or one grade define your whole future. There is so much more potential right inside of you. And remember, as Albert Einstein said, everyone's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing that it's stupid. Don't let other people's metrics of success become yours.
With this, I stopped my webinar, Miss. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hope you see that video.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maybe some of you might have seen that video, but
Yes,
still,
Jay
because
Shetty.
because
Jay
most of
Shetty,
the,
sir.
okay. So regarding my presentation, if anybody has got doubts or doubts in the sense, difference of opinion or clarifications, please, we will have 10 or 15 minutes, if possible. Hello.
Students, you can ask if you have.
Praveena, ma'am, she's raising her hand, it seems. Please ask, ma'am. Praveena, ma'am.
So your presentation was actually very informative regarding the new education policy. Now, what sort of advice you can give to the students regarding this new policy, sir?
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, that was the last video I have shown. Is the crux of that national education policy. That means, don't give much emphasis. Of course, examination is a part of that. At the same time, we need to improve our 360-degree level in case of attitude, in case of, because we have got, I was telling my story in Government Brennan College with more than 95% marks. Of course, marks are important. At the same time, unfortunately, students are not at all concentrating on reading. The most important aspect, reading, has been completely neglected by our student community. So reading is important, and multidisciplinary attitude is important, and at the same time, goal setting is important. So these are the things the students should take care of it.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
You have rightly pointed out what the new gen students have to take care of. And your discussion was, you have given a discussion on the views or the points regarding national education policy in a very capsule form. It was very neatly presented. It was very good also, sir. But I want to ask you, see,
Yes.
you have said that we should, there should be the integration of sports with arts, science, and so on. That is, this will begin from grade 4 onwards, according to national education policy.
Yes, yes.
But the present scenario is, in colleges, those students who are interested in sports are also not able to pursue their interest because of the lack of infrastructural facilities.
Of course.
Our college also lacks it, because we have a ground. For name sake, we can say that this is our ground, just show a ground, which is not fully developed. And also for other sport events, there is not much facility, and we are not getting any support from our management. Very little support we are getting this year using the RUSA fund.
Okay.
That is the only fund which is available to us now. So if this is the situation, if it doesn't change, won't it affect the development of sports in campuses?
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely, infrastructure is the most important aspect. And national education policy in school level, they have suggested that the school complex, they have given a new concept. No, not new concept. It was there in the Kothari Commission, that school education complex shall be utilized there. That means in 4 or 3 schools, there they will have the sports facilities. All those facilities can be utilized by almost all the schools. But in higher education, the management and the teachers and the students, including the parent-teacher association, should think about how this infrastructure should be developed. And when it comes to National Council for Teacher Education, all the B.Ed colleges should be given permission only when they have a sports ground. Unfortunately, we started a lot of B.Ed colleges simply showing the other institutions ground, and we will get the National Teacher Education Council permissions. So we have to be very serious about increasing the infrastructure with the support of the government and all the stakeholders, including the principals, management, and parents, and the society. Because so this national education policy would be a stepping stone for the improvement of the infrastructure. See, the same example, madam, we have in our college, Government Brennan College, there was a big problem because we have applied for a synthetic track proposal 6 years back, and the majority of the teachers were saying that it's not a sports college, it is a college where we provide academic activities. And for the 2 or 3 or 4 years, it was stopped because of this kind of attitude. But now it is going to be completed, almost completed. That means, so there the difference comes. There is no difference between curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular. So this kind of attitude we have to change, especially from our society.
Like in for the development of research and so on, we have many funding agencies across India. And for the development of sports, Is there any funding agency where we can submit a proposal?
Ma'am, actually, come to the Kerala government, we have got the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. And in colleges, higher education, I think, no, we have to give a lot of proposals. And apart from that, the policy makers, if we come to the college education director, they should be given a broader perspective of the situation of the sports. In government colleges, I don't know in the aided colleges, in government colleges every year, we got minimum 2 lakhs for the coaching camps and the improvement of sports. Apart from the coaching camps, conducting health programs, aerobics programs, we got 2 lakhs. But still we need to improve the level of funding. And basically the problem comes, the policy makers have to change their concept. When we discuss all these things, then recently the respected college education director was asking, why you need 2 lakhs? Because you have got 20 or 11 or 12 teams. Actually, colleges should not, it's only one among the duty to field teams. Because in 2,500 students we have in government Brennan College. In intercollegiate activities, only or 250 students will be there. But we are neglecting the majority groups. So instead of intercollegiate activities, of course, intercollegiate activities must be given importance. At the same time, we should inculcate a fitness program to address the fitness, health, and sports activities of the majority students. This was the plan I was explaining to the college education director.
And what was their response, sir?
Response is no. Why? Because he was then for the Directorate of Collegiate Education. Normally, I got an opportunity to represent our college in a principal's meeting because principal was only. So majority, what I have seen in that meeting, nobody speaks about the sports infrastructure and sports facilities and all. Of course, because I did my degree and PG in mathematics. Normally, almost teachers emphasize on their classroom academic activities. So my humble request is that the 360 degrees of the students should be addressed. For that, just like national education policy envisages, we, the principals and the stakeholders, especially the principals, they should start speaking about improving sports. Otherwise, funding may not be there. And once the principals start speaking, then collegiate education director will be wary of these things. Otherwise, nobody explains these are the things. So I humbly request the principal madam, Reena madam, whenever you get an opportunity, so please speak about your limitations and infrastructure so that our collegiate education director will be able to see the present situation.
I'm very much concerned about the infrastructure we have here.
Yeah, of course, ma'am. And at the same time, apart from that, the teachers should also change, especially in physical education. Normally, we always concentrate on intercollegiate. No, in a college, 1,000 students and one physical education teacher. That means one teacher should address the 1,000 students. Intercollegiate, we can address the 10%. Open course, we can address the another 10 or 20%. But the majority percentage we have to address. And by how can we, and we have to formulate a program, especially in the university wise, how we will be able to address the majority students. And we have that guilty conscience that we are getting salary for the service of the entire students. But unfortunately, most of them, I don't want to blame our society, but still we the physical education teachers need to restructure our modus operandi. Thank you, Miss.
Sir, Raj Kiran is raising his hand.
Pardon?
Yes, sir.
Raj
Thank you,
Kiran.
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
Sir, it's not a question. It's like a doubt because
Okay.
I am also a job seeker in physical education. So,
Okay.
sir, in our state now,
Yeah.
the basic qualification for to become a physical education teacher in our state, it's 10th with a certification, any from CPED or Army.
In schools
So
level. In
without,
school level.
yeah, yes, school level, and the school level teachers are promoting automatically promoting to higher education. Is that
No.
special route,
Actually, in
something
higher
else?
education.
Polytechnic, from
Yes.
Polytechnic.
Yes.
That's it. Polytechnic basic qualification was BPE. No,
Okay.
okay, basic graduation. I'm not
Yes.
going that without
Yeah.
amending all these criteria, sir. How could we exist, or how could we say if we will train them we will give develop students psychological development, physical development, after all without having a degree, how could be a teacher can do this? So it's like a uh, ethical issues as that. So who will be responsible for this, sir? That is what my asking.
Very relevant question. This is the situation. This is the scenario we have been raising for the last 10 or 15 years. See, when there is a great difference between general education and higher education in Kerala. In Kerala, if you want to become an assistant professor in physical education, just like all other subjects, you should have PG 55 with the University Grants Commission's NET examination, right? And
Yes,
if you want to get admitted in government colleges, you have to write public service examination. But in schools level, the minimum qualification BPEd, MPEd, then CPEd, and even that military level 1 year training program.
yes, sir.
All these 4 qualifications are considered equal for getting an appointment in school physical education teacher. And one more anomaly is there. A teacher, a person, a candidate with BPEd, MPEd, MPhil and a PhD, he will be, even though high school teacher, lower primary school teacher, whatever, with the same salary is provided. So these anomaly has to be addressed by the school teachers and the school teaching society and the policy makers. But in higher education, it was not like that. And I understand that there is a difference of opinion in school teachers, that those CPEd teachers still existing in school, they say that this is enough. Am I right?
Of course. Yes, sir. Of course.
So
that's the main issue over here.
There is a big politics, because politics in the sense, not the party politics. So once I joined with the CPEd certificate in schools, so I'm so happy. So nobody should be above myself. So that kind of attitude should not be there. We have to promote, we have to preserve our profession. So just like what happens in higher education, no problem. But the same level, BPEd for BEd, just like HSA, BEd equal to BPEd, high school teacher. Higher secondary, MPEd and SET. In LP school, BPEd. So that kind of qualifications should be installed. But nobody is taking care of this. Hope you got my answer.
Yes, sir. But my suggestion is you should you should speak something advice to new generation, because the new generation should be raise hand for this. And
Definitely,
you people, experts like you must be support new coming teachers.
Definitely, because I have been a part of Kannur University Physical Education College for the last 6 years. I mean, from 2002 to 2007. There I got an opportunity to teach Sriji. So in schools, we need to have a cohesion, irrespective of my own post or your own post. Physical education should be a part of the curriculum, and it has its own qualification. just like in higher education. For that, the school teachers have to join together and make it practical.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Thank you, sir.
I want our students to interact.
Definitely, actually, the students should interact with
We
us.
have to interact. Someone please come forward.
Students, please remember, there is no teacher without students. Once 40 students has been taken in a college, then comes the teacher's role. So you are the most important stakeholders of higher education. So you have to come out. You have to ask questions, difference of opinion, and share your thought. Otherwise, we will simply sitting as students. If you complete your graduation, post-graduation, that is why I was sharing my experience. Even there was a great experience in my college for a degree PG appointment, I mean PG admission. I was asking a PG student, I don't want to name that student, who may I know the higher education minister of Kerala. Then she says, Thomas Isaac. See, PG student. Normally, then we were asking some questions. Then she says, sir, we don't read newspapers. How can we go upward without reading newspapers? So you have to read newspapers. You have to ask questions. For that, if you want to ask questions, you need to know what are the things contemporary society faces. For that, you need reading newspapers. So please, my dear students, please ask some questions so that we will be so happy and satisfied.
Yes, come forward. ആർക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കാം. നല്ലൊരു അവസരമാണ്. ശ്രീജി സർ, നമ്മുടെ സ്പോർട്സ് കുട്ടികളില്ലേ ഇതില്?
അല്ല, എന്റെ സജഷൻ സ്പോർട്സ് കുട്ടികളല്ല, മറ്റുള്ള കുട്ടികളാണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്.
സ്പോർട്സ് കുട്ടികൾക്കാണ് ഒരുപാട് അവരുടെ പരിമിതികൾ കൂടുതൽ വിവരിക്കാനുള്ളത്.
ഓക്കെ. Some students, please ask at least you can ask questions to teachers.
Haridayal sir is raised his hand.
Yes. Haridayal sir, please.
Yes. Good evening, Prashobjit.
Yes, good evening, sir.
It's a very, very informative class, very informative session taken by you. And I think this time is not enough to explain the content in detail, because you just go on the superficial area, not into the deep into the next. I'm an alumni of.
Oh, you're an alumni of Srinarayana College.
Srinarayana Guru College. I mean SN College Natika. I was a student in 84 to 89, degree and pre-degree.
Yes.
Now എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ള റീന ടീച്ചറോടും ശ്രീജി മാഷോടും കൂടിയാണ്. എന്താ വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാല് ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ നാഷണൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷണൽ പോളിസി പ്രകാരം നമുക്ക് നാക്കിന്റെ അക്രഡിറ്റേഷൻ കിട്ടാണെങ്കിൽ എ ഗ്രേഡ് കിട്ടണമെങ്കിൽ 3.1 എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ ഉണ്ട്. And the basic facilities available in our colleges is not enough to get the grading of A, because I was a student of SN College Natika. There was a good ground, and we around 25 athletes were practiced over there, and we were the third position holders in 1987. Now everyone know about, I am working in Sri Krishna College. Sri Krishna College is one of the best team in India. Sri Krishna was the winners, St. Thomas was the runners, and Natika SN College was the third place holders at that time. And Mohsin, many of the athletes, even Olympian Ramanandran was started his career from SN College Natika. So later on what happened, the entire ground is used for other purpose. Now the actual size of the ground is for a 7th ground, not even for a 7th ground, it's for a 5th ground. And all the other sessions were occupied by the management. There was a private college run by the SN Trust. So actually we are spoiling everything. The management, the PTA, all are responsible. Even the principal is responsible. As far as I am concerned, the principal is responsible for that. Because SN College was one of the best volleyball team in Calicut University. There was a very good Kabaddi team. I am a part and parcel of our what we can say water polo team, the Calicut University Winters in '85. Everything is gone now. I am very fortunate to say Sriji is there. Please utilize him. He is a very good organizer. He is ready to spend his time for the preparation of the teams. SN College, Shorner, he created a good football team. The team will be known in Sriji's name because that team qualified many times and for the intercollegiate championship. We have all the facilities, madam. Please, at least you support any one team or two team. Just two team. No, there is no need of infrastructure for volleyball. There is no need of infrastructure for Kabaddi team. And Natika is a land of lot of athletes, inborn athletes. And Tisojan was there, is there. Now she joined in St. Thomas College. There is an academy, volleyball academy. All the students are going for Christ College, Irinalakuda, Asmabi College. What is the reason? The college is not ready to provide anything for them. We are seeking the athletes from Kasaragod to Trivandrum, catching them. Not for the sake of the physical education teacher. It's for the sake of the college. The name will be SN College Natika or the name will be Sri Krishna College, whatever it may be. At least support, provide facilities for two teams. We are having a PT fund, PTA fund is there. And we have the alumni. Normally, at least 1 lakh rupees will be for the PD account. Contribute something from the teacher's side to promote the sports facilities. Then we go for the National Educational Policy, other fundings. UGC, now UGC is not providing any fund for the thing. For getting the fund from Russo, there will be a certain percentage of staff members, permanent staff members. So, everything is possible, madam. Everything is possible. And I am very thankful that for organizing such a wonderful session with our Prashobjit. He is a very energetic physical education teacher. And he is the All Kerala Physical Education Association treasurer. And we are facing a lot of problems in the field because our designation is maybe changed to physical director instead of the assistant professor. So we are fighting for the survival. And Prashobjit is one of the leading fighter for all these activities. Madam, sorry. And I am very happy to be a part to any help from me to Srijit and you also, ma'am.
Okay, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Prashant, thank you. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sriji,
Thank you
Srini. Sriji.
Thank you for the support and suggestions.
So you have rightly pointed out what has happened to Srinarayana College Natika. Because after I came here, I came to know that this college has a very good track record in sports. And recently, our Alumni Association also organized a program to honor all the sports persons. And there were many participants. What happened to this college, I do not know. Because what you said is true, because we have a very good ground. That is correct. It was a ground used for sports activities only. Now it is, the ground is not used for sports activities. You can see vehicles moving across the ground. We are not able to develop it as a playground now. And Sriji sir and myself, we have been trying to modify it, but lack of funds is our main constraint. We have raised this problem before the management. And as you have rightly pointed out, we are not getting any financial support from them. And I know NAC accreditation, securing a grade is not possible without developing the infrastructural facilities for sports. That I know very well. And little fund we get from PD account is not enough to upgrade all the facilities. And we are waiting for the RUSA fund. That is RUSA fund. This college has received 2 crores as RUSA fund. And very recently only we have started the maintenance work using this fund. And for sports infrastructure, we have listed out certain equipments which we'll be able to purchase shortly. That is the only financial help we are getting this year. And as Sriji sir is concerned, all teachers have informed me that he's a very good teacher. He's able to develop or change the sports culture in this college. And he has, what you have said is true. Shornur College has got a very good football team. All that I know. Definitely this college will benefit by him. I'm sure about it. But regarding the infrastructural development, finance is a must. There should be someone to finance all this. And that is what we are lacking. And I'm trying my level best. I've requested the management to come forward. I'm hoping they'll help at least before the NAC visit. That is my only hope now. Let's hope and see. Because this college has got great potential, because the history of this college is very high. And so you have pointed out, we are trying our level best, sir.
Okay.
Sriji, you are like so lucky that you got a principal like Reena ma'am, because she's concerned. Apart from that, she speaks a lot for sports, and I'm so happy that even the principal was attending the seminar full time. Normally, there is a misconception. Oh, physical education, sports seminar. So sports seminars, so they will, the HOD or the physical education faculty will deal all these things. But completely different. Principal was listening to all the discussions. That is, you are so lucky that in that aspect. Thank you, ma'am, for your great care and concern.
So I come from a college which has secured 13 gold medals in the national games, last national games. That is SN Champadandi.
Oh, great.
So I can feel the difference. What is happening there and what is happening here.
Yes.
So very wonderful swimming team. Biju, Dr. Biju was there.
Yes, Biju Sukumar was there.
SS Biju, he was my senior at Maruti College. Okay. And Sriji, utilize.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alumni is always there to help you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, madam, for the great support. വാക്കുകൾ മാത്രം മതി ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പ്രവർത്തിക്കാൻ. വാക്കുകൾ മാത്രം മതി ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പ്രവർത്തിക്കാൻ.
Yes, exactly.
Binu teacher.
Sir, Dr. Pradeep CS, he has raised his hand, it seems. I think he wants to ask some questions. Dr. Pradeep, sir, please.
Thank you, madam. നാട്ടിക NSS കോളേജ് ഇത്തരത്തിലൊരു സെമിനാർ നടത്തിയതിൽ വളരെ അതിയായ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് റീജി മാഷും അതുപോലെ ക്ലാസ് എടുത്തത് പ്രശോഭ് സാറ് സ്പോർട്സുമായി വളരെ നല്ല ചർച്ച വന്നതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അതിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാൻ തോന്നിയത്. ഇവിടെ ഹരിമാഷ് സൂചിപ്പിച്ച കാര്യങ്ങളോട് ഞാൻ പൂർണ്ണമായി യോജിക്കുന്നു. ഒരു കോളേജിൽ സ്പോർട്സിൽ ഇത്തരം കാര്യങ്ങൾ നടക്കട്ടെ. പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ പ്രശോഭ് സാറിനോട് എനിക്ക് ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളൊരു ചോദ്യം, ഒരു കോളേജിൽ മുഴുവൻ എൻറ്റയർ സ്റ്റുഡൻറ്റിനെയും ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പദ്ധതികളാണ് നമുക്ക് മുന്നോട്ട് വെക്കേണ്ടത്. അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി ഒരു കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കോളേജ് സ്പോർട്സ് എന്നതിന് പേര് കൊടുത്തിട്ട് അതിൽ നിന്ന് വരുന്ന എക്സലന്റ് ടാലന്റുകൾക്ക് ഇത്തരം ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കൊടുക്കുന്നതിൽ തെറ്റില്ല, അത് വേണം, അതൊരു സെക്കൻഡ് പാർട്ടാണ്. പക്ഷെ ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രയോറിറ്റി ഒരു കോളേജിലെ എൻറ്റയർ സ്റ്റുഡൻറ്റിനെയും സ്വാധീനിക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്ന എന്ത് പദ്ധതികളാണ് നമ്മൾ മുന്നോട്ട് വെക്കേണ്ടത്? ഇത്തരം ചർച്ചകളിൽ അത്തരം ഒരു ആശയം കൂടെ ഒന്ന് കൺവേ ചെയ്താൽ നന്നായിരിക്കും. അതിനുള്ള ഒരു സാധ്യത കൂടെ ഞാൻ സാറിൽ നിന്ന് പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നു. സാർ പ്ലീസ്.
യെസ്, താങ്ക് യു പ്രദീപ്. ഈ പ്രദീപ് പറഞ്ഞ ഈ കാര്യം ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് മുന്നേ ഇവിടെ സംസാരിച്ചിരുന്നു. അതായത് ഒരു കോളേജിലെ ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ അധ്യാപകൻ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത് പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അടുത്ത ജനറൽ പോസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടാണ്. സോ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അവിടുത്തെ എല്ലാ കുട്ടികളുടെയും അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട രീതിയിലായിരിക്കണം ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പ്രോഗ്രാം പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. നിർഭാഗ്യവശാൽ അതിൻ്റെ സ്ട്രക്ചർ ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ 10% ഇന്റർ കോളേജിയറ്റ് ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ്, 10% കുട്ടികൾ, അടുത്ത ഒരു 10-15% കുട്ടികൾ ഓപ്പൺ കോഴ്സിന് വരുന്ന കുട്ടികൾ, എങ്കിലും ഒരു 70-75% കുട്ടികൾ സ്പോർട്സിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടോ ഫിസിക്കൽ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടോ വരുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ളത് ഒരു യാഥാർത്ഥ്യമാണ്. അതിലേക്ക് നമ്മൾ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ ആക്ടിവിറ്റി ഓറിയന്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഫസ്റ്റ് സെമസ്റ്ററിൽ തന്നെ നമുക്കതിൽ വേണ്ടത്, ഇപ്പം ഓപ്പൺ കോഴ്സുകളൊക്കെ ഉള്ളത് 5th സെമസ്റ്ററിലാണ് കണ്ണൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ കേസിൽ. ഫസ്റ്റ് സെമസ്റ്ററിൽ തന്നെ കോമൺ കോഴ്സ് സബ്മിഷൻ ഓൾറെഡി കണ്ണൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ 1-2 തവണ കൊടുത്തതാണ്. കോമൺ കോഴ്സിൽ അറ്റ് പ്രസന്റ് വി ഹാവ് ഗോട്ട് കോമൺ കോഴ്സിൽ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്, ഹിസ്റ്ററി, വേൾഡ് ഹിസ്റ്ററി ഒക്കെ പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതേപോലെ തന്നെ സ്പോർട്സ് ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ്സ് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ഓൺ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ, ആ രീതിയിലുള്ള, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഹെൽത്ത് ആൻഡ് ഫിറ്റ്നസ്, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരു രീതിയിലേക്കുള്ള ഒരു കോമൺ കോഴ്സ് പേപ്പർ കൊണ്ടുവരണം എന്നുള്ള പ്രപ്പോസൽസ് നിരവധി തവണ കൊടുത്തതാണ്. ബട്ട് ദ പ്രോബ്ലം ഈസ് ദ പോളിസി മേക്കേഴ്സ്. ആ പോളിസി മേക്കിംഗ് നാഷണൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പോളിസിയുടെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് മാറുമെന്നാണ് ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. കാരണം തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും സ്പോർട്സ് ഒരു ഇന്റഗ്രേഷന്റെ ഭാഗമാകുകയും സ്പോർട്സ് ഒരു ഡിസിപ്ലിനാണ്, എസ്റ്റാബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്യണം, എംപവർ ചെയ്യണം, 360 ഡിഗ്രി വളരണം എന്നുള്ള ഒരു മെസ്സേജ് നാഷണൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പോളിസിയിൽ കൊടുക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നതോട് കൂടിയിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ സ്പോർട്സിന്റെ മേഖലയിലേക്ക് മാറ്റം സംഭവിക്കണം. അതിന് പോളിസി മേക്കേഴ്സ്, വൈസ് ചാൻസലർ ഉൾപ്പെടെ, സിൻഡിക്കേറ്റ് ഉൾപ്പെടെ മാറേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. അറ്റ് ദ സെയിം ടൈം കോളേജുകളിലെ അധ്യാപകരും ആ രീതിയിലേക്ക് മാറേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. എന്തായാലും നമ്മുടെ ഭാഗത്തുനിന്ന് കോമൺ കോഴ്സ്, ഈവൻ സോ ഈ ഓപ്പൺ കോഴ്സ് വന്നതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടുള്ള സ്ട്രഗിൾസ് ഒക്കെ അതിന്റെ ആ സമയത്ത് പ്രവർത്തിച്ചൊരു അധ്യാപകനാണ്. കുട്ടികൃഷ്ണൻ സാറ് പ്രോ വൈസ് ചാൻസലറായി കണ്ണൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ സമയത്താണ് നിരവധി ഇതിന്റെ ഹഡിൽസിനെ തരണം ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് ഓപ്പൺ കോഴ്സ്, അന്നത്തെ ഹയർ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ കൗൺസിൽ മുന്നോട്ട് വെച്ച ചോയ്സ് ബേസ്ഡ് ക്രെഡിറ്റ് സെമസ്റ്റർ സിസ്റ്റത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ഓപ്പൺ കോഴ്സ് വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. ആ ഓപ്പൺ കോഴ്സ് പോലും വേണ്ട എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സമൂഹം നമ്മളുടെ കൂടെയുണ്ട്. ഈവൻ ഐ എം സോ സോറി ദാറ്റ് ഡിഫറൻസ് ഓഫ് ഒപ്പീനിയൻ കംസ് ഫ്രം അവർ ഫീൽഡ് ഓൾസോ. സോ അതിൽ നിന്ന് മാറി കോമൺ കോഴ്സിലേക്ക് മാറണം. കോമൺ കോഴ്സിലേക്ക് മാറുമ്പോൾ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ അറിയണം. കുട്ടികൾ അറിയുമ്പോഴാണ് ഇതിന്റെ ബെനിഫിറ്റ് മനസ്സിലാകുള്ളൂ. അങ്ങനെ ബെനിഫിറ്റ് മനസ്സിലാകുന്നു, സോ ഓട്ടോമാറ്റിക്കലി സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് വിൽ ബി അട്രാക്റ്റഡ്. അതിന് ഈവൻ നമ്മളെ കോളേജിൽ നമ്മൾ എടുക്കുന്ന ഒരു പോളിസി, ടോട്ടൽ ഇൻഡക്ഷൻ പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ, ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇയേഴ്സിന്റെ ഇൻഡക്ഷൻ പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ ഐ ഗോട്ട് എൻ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി. സോ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു, നമ്മൾ അവർക്ക് പല കാര്യങ്ങളും, ഇവിടെ ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ താരങ്ങളുണ്ട്. അപ്പാർട്ട് ഫ്രം ദാറ്റ് അതിന് ഒരു രീതി ഞാൻ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്, ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ അധ്യാപകൻ എന്ന നിലയിൽ പല അക്കാഡമിക്സ് പ്രോഗ്രാമിന്റെയും വർക്ക് വിത്ത് സ്കോളർ, സിവിൽ സർവീസ് കോർഡിനേറ്റർ, അതിന്റെയൊക്കെ ചാർജ് എടുക്കും. സോ വി വിൽ ഹാവ് പ്ലന്റി ഓഫ് സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്. സോ അവരില് ഇത്തരം പ്രോഗ്രാമുകളുടെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് വി ഇൻകൾക്കേറ്റ് ദ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് ഓഫ് സ്പോർട്സ്. ആ ഒരു രീതിയും നമുക്ക് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യാം. എങ്കിലും ഡോക്ടർ പ്രദീപ് പറഞ്ഞത് വളരെ റിലവൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. വി ഹാവ് ടു ഹാവ് എ transformation from the inter-college activity to open course to common course to core course, which has already been envisaged by the Kothari committee and which is rightly strengthened by the National Education Policy 2020. Now, it's our duty, the stakeholders, the policy makers have to take a strong stand that sports and physical education is an integral part of each and every student. Thank you.
സാർ
താങ്ക് യു സർ.
പ്രദീപ് സാർ, ഒരു ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ. നമ്മൾ കാലിക്കറ്റ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം ഉണ്ട്, കമ്പൽസറി ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പ്രോഗ്രാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് ഒരുവിധം എല്ലാ കോളേജുകളിലും നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. 1 മണിക്കൂർ നേരം ഒരു 5 ദിവസമുള്ള വർക്കിംഗ് ഡേയിലെ എല്ലാ ദിവസങ്ങളിലും 1 മണിക്കൂർ നേരം ഓരോ ക്ലാസ്സുകൾക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ കമ്പൽസറി ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പ്രോഗ്രാം 28 ബാറ്ററികൾ അടങ്ങുന്ന ഒരു എക്സസൈസ് പ്രോഗ്രാം അവർക്ക് കമ്പൽസറി ആയിട്ട് ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ളൊരു ഇതുണ്ട്. അതിന് കുട്ടികൾക്ക്, പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്ക് കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഒരു സിസ്റ്റം വരെ കാലിക്കറ്റ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് പല കോളേജുകളിലും അത് നടപ്പിലാക്കുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ളൊരു ദുഃഖകരമായ സത്യമുണ്ട്. അത് ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ അധ്യാപകന് മാത്രം നടപ്പിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമല്ല. കാരണം ഒരു കോളേജിൽ 1500 കുട്ടികൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇയർ കുട്ടികൾക്കാണ് ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. അത് മറ്റുള്ള അധ്യാപകരുടെ സഹായത്തോടു കൂടി, പ്രിൻസിപ്പളിന്റെ ഗൈഡൻസോട് കൂടി മാത്രമേ നടപ്പിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. എല്ലാ കോളേജുകളും ഒരുവിധം എനിക്ക് അറിയുന്നിടത്തോളം ഒരു 70% കോളേജുകൾ ഇത് നടപ്പിലാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇത് സാധാരണ സ്പോർട്സിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന കുട്ടികൾ വളരെ ചുരുക്കമാണ്. എൻ്റെ കോളേജിൽ സംബന്ധിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു 300 കുട്ടികൾ മാത്രമേ സ്പോർട്സിൽ 18 ടീമുകളിലായി പങ്കെടുക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. ആ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഒരു വിധത്തിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മറ്റൊരു വിധത്തിൽ ജയിച്ചാൽ മാത്രമേ ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നുള്ളൂ. അത്രയും കുട്ടികൾ ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ ഭൂരിഭാഗം വരുന്ന മറ്റുള്ള കുട്ടികൾക്ക് യാതൊരു അവസരങ്ങളും കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള കുട്ടികൾ പങ്കെടുത്താൽ ഈ ടെസ്റ്റ് പാസ്സാവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്കിന് അർഹതയുണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളൊരു കാര്യം കൂടി എല്ലാ അധ്യാപകരും മനസ്സിലാക്കണം. അത് എല്ലാ കോളേജുകളിലും അത് നിർബന്ധമായി നടപ്പിലാക്കി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ സാറ് പറഞ്ഞ പോലെയുള്ള എല്ലാവരിലേക്കും ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷന്റെ അവബോധം എത്തിച്ചേരും. ഒരു കൾച്ചർ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ നമുക്ക് പറ്റും. എന്തായാലും പ്രതീഷ് സാർ വളരെ പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ തന്നെയാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. പ്രശോഭ് സാർ പറഞ്ഞതും വളരെ കൃത്യമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യമാണ്.
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഹരി സാർ, ആക്ച്വലി കാലിക്കറ്റ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ ആ പദ്ധതിയെ വി അപ്രീഷിയേറ്റ് ഇൻ എ ഹൈ ലെവൽ. ആൻഡ് അതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് നമ്മൾ അവിടുത്തെ കാലിക്കറ്റ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ പ്രോഗ്രാമിന്റെ ഒരു കോപ്പി നമ്മൾ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു കണ്ണൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി മുന്നേയുള്ള ഡയറക്ടർക്കും വൈസ് ചാൻസലർക്കും ഒക്കെ.
നടപ്പിലാക്കിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഭാഗമായിട്ടുള്ള മനോജ് സാർ ഇന്ന് കാലിക്കറ്റ് കണ്ണൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ ഡയറക്ടർ പോസ്റ്റിൽ എത്തിയിട്ടുള്ള വളരെ സന്തോഷകരമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. അപ്പൊ മനോജ് സാറിന് ഇതിനെ പറ്റി നല്ല കൃത്യമായിട്ടുള്ള അറിവുണ്ട്. അത് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉപകാരപ്പെടും. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഇവിടെ മെൻഷൻ VC ആയിരുന്ന അബ്ദുൽ സലാം സാറും ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ കാലിക്കറ്റ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ ഡയറക്ടറായിട്ടുള്ള സക്കീർ ഹുസൈന്റെയും നല്ലൊരു എഫർട്ട് ഈ ഒരു കാര്യത്തിന് ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് ഫോളോ അപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നുണ്ട് ഒരു സർട്ടൻ പെർസെൻറ്റേജ് വരെ. പിന്നെ കുറച്ചും കൂടി നമ്മൾ എഡ്യൂക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് സുഖമായിട്ട് ഇതിനെ ഒരു പ്രദീപ് സാർ പറഞ്ഞ മാതിരി ഒരു എല്ലാവരിലേക്കും ഒരു നല്ലൊരു ബോധം വളർത്തിയെടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് നല്ലൊരു തലമുറ പ്രസന്റ് സിനാരിയോയില് കോവിഡ് പോലെയുള്ള ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ ഫിറ്റ്നസ് നമ്മളെ ഡെയിലി റൂട്ടീൻ എക്സസൈസും മറ്റു കാര്യങ്ങളുമായിട്ട് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്കൊരു ലെവൽ വരെ ഇതിനെ നമുക്ക് പ്രതിരോധിക്കാനും കൂടി കഴിയും. താങ്ക് യു സർ.
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അത്തരം പദ്ധതികൾക്ക് ബിഗ് സക്സസ്.
താങ്ക് യു പ്രശോഭ് സാർ. ഞാൻ ഒരു 2 പോയിന്റ് കൂടെ ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനകത്ത് വളരെ നല്ല ഫ്രൂട്ട്ഫുൾ ചർച്ച ആയതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. ഒന്ന്, നമ്മുടെ പോളിസി മേക്കേഴ്സിന്റെ ഫ്രണ്ടിൽ അവരൊരു പദ്ധതി നടപ്പിലാക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ചില മോഡലുകൾ നമ്മൾ കാണിക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. ഒരുപക്ഷെ കാലിക്കറ്റ് നടപ്പിലാക്കുന്ന മോഡല് നമ്മുടെ കേരളത്തിലെ മറ്റ് ഇതര കോളേജുകളിൽ ഏറ്റെടുത്ത് നടപ്പിലാക്കിയാൽ ഒരുപക്ഷെ പോളിസി മേക്കേഴ്സ് ഫോഴ്സ്ഫുൾ ആവും ഇത്തരം ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം നടപ്പിലാക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യകതയെക്കുറിച്ച്. പോളിസി മേക്കേഴ്സ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യാമെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വീണ്ടും സമയമെടുക്കും, നീണ്ടും. രണ്ടാമത്, ഈ ഒരു ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്കിന് വേണ്ടിയാണ് നമ്മളിത് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിനേക്കാളും ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ലൈഫുമായിട്ട് എങ്ങനെ ഇത് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് വേൾഡ് ഹെൽത്ത് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ മുന്നോട്ട് വെക്കുന്ന ഒരു കാഴ്ചപ്പാട്, ഇന്ത്യയിലെ എത്ര ശതമാനം കുട്ടികൾക്കാണ് ഫിസിക്കൽ ഫിറ്റ്നസ് ഇല്ലാത്തത്? ഇത് അവരുടെ പഠിത്തത്തെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവരുടെ ജീവിതത്തെ, അവരുടെ എക്കോണമിക് കണ്ടീഷൻ, അവരുടെ പ്രൊഡക്ടിവിറ്റിയെ, ഒരു നാഷണലിൻ്റെ പ്രൊഡക്ടിവിറ്റിയെ എങ്ങനെ അത് എഫക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതിനെ ലിങ്ക് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഒരു വ്യക്തിയിൽ ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന മാറ്റം ആ വ്യക്തിയിലൂടെ സമൂഹത്തിലും ഉണ്ടാകുന്നു എന്നുള്ള ഒരു കാഴ്ചപ്പാടിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ ആദ്യം മാറേണ്ടത് വ്യക്തികളാണ്. ആ മാറ്റത്തിന് ഫിസിക്കൽ ആക്ടിവിറ്റി എങ്ങനെ പ്രയോജനം ചെയ്യുന്നു? അങ്ങനെ സാർ, ഐ എം ഓഡിബിൾ? അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇത് എത്ര സമയമാണ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്, എങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ചെയ്യണം എന്ന ഒരു ബ്രോഡ് പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവ്സിൽ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അവനവൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ ലൈഫ് സ്കില്ലിൻ്റെ, ലൈഫ് സ്പോർട്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ജീവിത നൈപുണ്യങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള സ്പോർട്സ് ആയിട്ട് ഇത് മാറും. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു കാഴ്ചപ്പാട് വേണം. ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്ക് എന്നുള്ള ഒരു തലമല്ല നമ്മൾ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട എന്നുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യം. ഈ 2 പോയിന്റ് ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നു പറഞ്ഞ എല്ലാവരോടും ഞാൻ പൂർണ്ണമായി യോജിക്കുന്നു.
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഐ ഡു അഗ്രി വിത്ത് വാട്ട് പ്രദീപ് ഹാസ് സെഡ്. സി, ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്ക് അല്ല നമ്മളുടെ ഇഷ്യൂ. ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്ക് ആൻഡ് ഇന്റർ കോളേജിയറ്റ് ട്രോഫീസ് വിൽ കം ആൻഡ് ഗോ, ബട്ട് വി ഹാവ് ടു കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റ്, വി ഹാവ് ടു അഡ്രസ് ദി ടോട്ടൽ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് physical fitness and health, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Pradeep. അത് 100% ഗ്രേസ് മാർക്കൊക്കെ അത് അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു സെൽഫിഷ്നെസ് എന്ന രീതിയിൽ കണ്ടാൽ മതി. അതല്ല ഇഷ്യൂ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ എയിംസ് ആൻഡ് ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ്സിൽ പ്രദീപ് പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ അതിൻ്റെ ജസ്റ്റിഫിക്കേഷൻ എന്താണ്, ആ രീതിയിലേക്ക് കൊടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് മാറ്റാൻ. എനിവേ, ദി COVID-19 ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ടു ബി എ ബിഗ് ഐ ഓപ്പണർ ഫോർ എൻറ്റയർ സൊസൈറ്റി. അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് കണ്ണൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ ഈ രീതിയിലുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ നടത്തി തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അതിനെ നമ്മുടെ പ്രൊഫഷനെ കൂടുതൽ മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകാനുള്ള ശ്രമങ്ങൾ നടത്താനുള്ള ശ്രമങ്ങൾ തുടർന്നും ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കുമെന്ന് കണ്ണൂരിൽ തന്നെയുള്ള പഠിച്ച പ്രദീപിനെ വാക്കുകൊടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ നിർത്തുന്നു.
ബിനു ടീച്ചർ.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon all. On behalf of Research and Publication Committee, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this Parampara 2020 organized by the Department of Physical Education, Research and Publication Committee, IQAC, PTA in collaboration with Kerala State Higher Education Council. First of all, I would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest of today, Dr. Prashobit sir, Head, Government Brennan College, Talashiri, for gracing today's webinar on National Education Policy 2020 and Sports. I must mention my deep sense of appreciation to Prashobit sir for giving an excellent coverage to NEP 2020. Thank you, sir, for your excellent presentation and making this session a very informative and interesting. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I would like to express thank you, sir. I would like to express my profound gratitude to our respected principal, Dr. Reena Ravindran ma'am, for her immense constant support and guidance throughout the entire session and make this as a great success. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to express my vote of thanks to Dr. Sriji sir for organizing such a beautiful event. Thank you, sir. I would also like to mention IQAC and PTA for their support and also to the entire participants to make this event a grand one. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashobit sir, and thank you, dear participants. We had a very lively discussion. The session was very interesting.